All right, everybody, welcome back to Mena's Minutes, episode 6. Yep, racking up the episodes of this reaction show to the main show. And I'm reacting mainly to Friday's show, the call-in show with Matt from Providence. A few things I wanted to touch on before the show goes on a break. So jumping in with Mena's Minutes. Before I do that, just want to say lots of great stuff on the network that, if you haven't watched much of the network stuff, this break for the main show would be a great time to go in there and maybe watch some of the shows that are on there. We've got an after show to the KMS basketball. There's a review show. Blind Mike was on with me on Mena's Live a couple of nights ago. He was terrific. So if you're looking for content while the main show's off, pull yourself out of Spaces for a minute and maybe go and watch some of those network stuff. And if you think you can take it, there's some shows there from cinema he did just before he passed away. So nice to watch them as well, to see him reviewing The Last of Us, I think it was. So let's talk about that show on Friday. The huge news from that show, and I just cannot believe it, is Mutt has not applied for the PA job at UConn. Like, stunning news, embarrassing news. If I'm Kirk, if I'm Jeff D. Lowe, this is almost a slap in the face. The fact that he knows people there, they've got mutual friends, and he hasn't even bothered to apply. And it is fucking loser move. If you want a job, you go for it. You don't apply just before the applications close. By then, a lot of jobs they've sort of not maybe picked someone, but they've identified a few really strong candidates already. So Mutt just looks like the biggest loser. And again, he makes Kirk and Jeff look bad. As I said, they've got friends there, and Mutt's just not even bothered to apply until right at the last minute. I think everyone knows he's not going to get it. I think it's clear he's not going to get it, but still, that was just jaw dropping. I mean, Muddy's a loser. He played terrible in the basketball team. He's terrible on the show. He's a bad person. He's a bad parent. And there is so much hate directed at Mutt now. I mean, if you look at the calls on Friday, a lot of the calls were shitting on Mutt. Kirk revealed Little People, Big World guy was messaging him how much he hates Mutt. I don't message Kirk and tell him how much I hate Mutt because he just knows, because they say it all the time on their shows, so I don't have to tell him directly. But Mutt's just an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment. And, with Blind Mike heading to the country, I don't want Mutt twice a week. Like, he's got to stay once a week maximum, absolute maximum. So that was stunning news on Friday that he hasn't applied. He's not going to get the job, and just a loser. He's never going to get a job. I love Matt from Providence on Friday's show. He's great to have him back in the world. I think it was the first time in studio. He did really well taking calls with Kirk. He knows the show. He's into the basketball, and he's on a golden run. And he said he's going to organize training. He's going to organize training now, maybe for some of the basketball teams. So, this is a great redemption arc. I've said it many times. My only concern is he's about to have, is it another baby? So I think he's got one child already and he's about to have another one. Either way, whether he's having his first or his second, there's every chance this new baby gets in the way of his basketball participation. Absolutely. Like, when you have a newborn, well, if you have two, it's even worse because you've already got one child to look after. So you've got two parents, you need to sort of divvy up the kids. But if it's the first, I mean, he doesn't know what he's in for. So, fingers crossed the baby doesn't interfere, because that would be a huge blow to Team KMS if Matt pulled out. And not to maybe criticize Matt, but he's shown in the past an ability to just all of a sudden disappear and step backwards. So, a step away from the world, sorry. So Matt from Providence, great appearance on Friday. I think he's someone they should try and get in studio more often. He should be put in the rotation. I'm not sure how long, but he was part of that crew that invented the joke, and therefore he should be given an opportunity in studio a bit more often. A couple of other things. I'll talk about the break, but oh Jesus, Tim and Canton called in. Funny call. Tim and Canton's back. this basketball has brought Tim Canton back. He sort of was stepped away for a while into the shadows, but the perpetual Minifan of the year has returned. He's on a heater, doing stuff at the basketball, doing a reaction show, back with the funny calls. So that's good to see. And now about the break. So the show is basically, it's not just going on a 2-week break with the July 4 holidays and everything that's coming up. It's pretty obvious that we're not going to get many main shows for the next few weeks. We'll definitely get some, absolutely get some, but we won't get as many as we won't be getting many. So the producers are on a holiday. They have nothing to do for the next month, basically, and they need to find stuff to do. So I tweeted out, for what it's worth, I wouldn't bother with many producer shows during the break, and instead the producers should concentrate on other content and developing ideas and strategies for the second half of the year. Because I think the producer show gives them an excuse to say they're doing something when they're not. And they could be doing a lot more things for the show. I mean, I'm not going to go into them. It's not my job, but for example, they could do a really heavy attempt at getting some good guests for Kirk. They could be more organized with the third chairs. They could be developing other content ideas. They could be doing lots of stuff. It shouldn't just be this terrible producer show. And when I put that tweet out, Kirk retweeted it, which is an implicit endorsement of that sentiment. And also it shows that there was a huge reaction of people that, said they don't really care about the producer show, whether it's on or not. So they really should be concentrating on the second half of the year. The producers have had a terrible 6 months to start the year. I mean, if you look at sort of the 6 months as a whole, then the producers have been way more down than they've been up. So they've got this break now. They've got a reset. I have no faith that they will, because they're both knuckleheads, but that would be my advice to them. Really start to plan out stuff. Social media strategies. KMS does not do enough stuff on social media. They should be cutting better videos to bring more people in from the Barstool community. Like, tell more stories. KMS is all about stories. Cutting clips from the podcast all the time, like that's fine to do. You should do that, but that's easy. It takes no time at all. They should be doing other stuff as well. So, I think the producer show's a cop out, and I think they should do one producer show a week and actually do other content and other stuff. I don't know what it is, but they should be working on other stuff. I mean, I know what I'd be doing, but that's it. Anyway, so that's kind of it. And like, for example, they could be working out how to do better coverage of the next basketball game. I think you need 2 cameras, and you need to be switching between 2 cameras on the basketball for the next basketball game. So, it's going to be a lot of people watching. Portnoy's going to be there. 1 camera by the sideline is not good enough. It's not that hard to do 2 cameras switching. I know what equipment they've got. They could definitely do it. You could, even if you just had 1 camera on the side and 1 not far away but raised up higher, so you got a couple of different angles. But you need 2 people operating the cameras. You need someone switching it. But they've got almost 2 months to organize it now. There's so many Minifans that want to be involved. So actually, now's the time. They've got nothing to do for a month. Kirk's going to be doing all the work. Justin and Cullinane are just going to be loafing. So they could get organized. And that's all my main takes from Friday's show. Just a lot of hate for Mutt from the calls. A lot of hate for Mutt. And the other thing was, I just wanted to let everybody know Spaces have kicked off in a big way. So basically, from the time the show ended on Friday, there's been a space going. Tommy Quinlan started one, then it rolled into somebody else. And, at 4 a.m. East Coast time, the Spaces were still going. So it is going to be relentless over the next 2 weeks. I ducked in and out. When I ducked in, I did hear one Michael Montante slamming the basketball content on KMS. Montante was saying that basically, when he was happy that the game was over, they won last week because he thought it would be the end of basketball content. But then just 3 days later, they're back talking about the basketball team. And Montante was saying basically the world's going to end now because of World War III. And, we're talking about KMS basketball. So Montante not happy. I've heard that sentiment in a few other places. People have said I originally was critical of the basketball, and I was, and I think it's overdone at times. But I'm sorry, when we lost Cinema, the context of the basketball team changed. I'm sorry if I've got a big heart. I'm sorry if my heart gets in the way of my head sometimes, but this is a team that lost someone and it draws you to them. So yeah, compelling last game. I hope they win. Montante not happy. There's a few people not happy. That was Mena's Minutes reacting to the Friday show. And yeah, check out all the great stuff on the network. I'll try and do some shows during the break. And yeah, let's see what absolute shit the producers throw at us during the long hiatus, where they can just put their feet up and do sweet fuck all.